It's not too bad. Alright, let's get this thing apart. 1708, so hopefully shouldn't be too much drama. Although they certainly can produce their own dramas. Not sure what we're going to be dealing with here. We could either have a shorted PP bus, or we could have issues with the CD3215s, or we could have liquid damage that has mysteriously knocked out enough parts to render it completely unrepairable. Lots of choices. Interesting, someone's tried to grind that out. A Neo Reaper. And a little bit of hair. Nothing dramatic. At least it doesn't look excessively liquid damaged or anything. May yet happen. I see Graham from A1708 did a 1708 the other day. Hopefully I don't run into the same chain of issues that he had to deal with. Seemed like no sooner he thought he was finished, he had to go and deal with more dramas. Yes, it is evening for me here, obviously. It's 11 o'clock now, so hopefully we'll get this done before midnight. Hopefully. Oh yeah, probably the fuse, absolutely. You never know, it could be, but it was interesting to see that Graham, okay, we've got a lifting stud off the keyboard there, so that's always fun. So when you try to unscrew it, what you end up doing is you're actually unscrewing the standoff stud from the keyboard side. So you have to stop trying to unscrew it and lift it off the logic board entirely. But yeah, Graham had himself a zombie fuse as well, so it was interesting to see. At least he got around to working that out quicker than I did with mine. Hey, Mr. Stamps. Hello there, As Service Phones. Definitely haven't seen you around before. Welcome. I wonder if Pedro will turn up. He probably won't, because I've been abusing him all day, calling him names, basically telling him what he is. He's probably off somewhere sulking. So yeah, you can see the logic board's coming out even though that screw is still present. And yeah, you can... Hey there, Ratmold. Okay, we're gonna have to grab the hex nut on one side, unscrew it here. You also want to make sure you don't slip when you're doing that, because with those pliers, if you slip, you'll probably smash something up there. It's not the best way to have your day go. Let's see, we're going to need a 3mm socket driver. And we will put that straight back in where it belongs before we lose it. I should say 3mm nut driver, really. It's not a socket driver, it's a nut driver. Oh, I see where we're going to have a problem already. I can see it, I can see the fault. Check that out. I don't know if you can see that or not. Anyway, we've had a colossal explosion of a cap. The trouble is, what did it also take out? I mean, it's fun and easy to find them straight away, but when they're this bad, it tends to mean there's something else that's gone wrong too. They have a habit of knocking out other items, so it might be the keyboard's been damaged because it got burned through, or who knows. But yeah, that's a pretty damned solid burnout there. Check, see what rail that one's on, and then estimate what might have been damaged as a secondary. That's this one here. Okay, so it's just PP bus G3 hot on the CPU side. That's not a problem. Or it shouldn't be. Impressive, the fuse didn't fail. Let's test that fuse just in case. .13, so that's actually okay. Oh yeah, heavy rain around here. Alright, we'll get rid of that cap. Might put a new one in there. I suppose I better measure the bus resistance. 2.3. At least that way when we take it off we'll know if it is or is not in fact fixed. At least so far as that aspect goes. Ah. See, Pedro might be here. Scrapey, scrapey, scrapey. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Scrapey, scrapey, scrapey. Scrape. The one issue that could come up here is the possibility that the cap has actually welded itself to the board. But here's hoping it has not. Okay, I'm just putting solid block of metal over the top of the SSD. Smells pretty bad. Now I'm really hoping I don't. Yeah, so that. Those other caps are desperately wanting to pop and die as well, just from the heat. So I may have to I'm just going to have to go with assistive heat and then lever this damn thing off. Like that. Yeah, that pad there feels... it was pretty close to welded. Hey there, Noosacat. Gonna be easiest if I solder that one first. I probably could leave this off, to be honest, but I'll see if I can put it on. So 33 microfarad, 16 volt. Okay, these ones are better ones. These, or maybe I'm wrong, I can't remember. These might be the ones that pop really easy, or they might not be. But there is a brand variety of these caps that they use, and like I said, they just have this incredible predisposition to just popping the moment they get any reasonable amount of heat on them from the hot air. So here we go. Dreaming. What? Who the hell keeps bending my tweezers? Try and focus my heat more down this side, because this is where the ground plane is, and that's the one that really sucks up the heat. Whereas this bit up here, it's a fat, flood of copper, but it's nowhere near as thirsty for heat as the ground plane is. Still got to take a while because that solder still has to get underneath the pads. I think I just saw that pop. Hello, Mohammed. I'm pretty sure that one popped. Try to take this one here then. Oh, I can't get one of them off cleanly, I'm just going to have to give up. This is the downside of using donor boards. Crikey, it's stubborn. Tech Fortress. What are the likelihoods to destroy some other components while working with a heat gun? Well, it really depends on the part involved, but yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible. I guess that's why you have to evaluate the situation. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter, you can just sort of go flat out with something. Other times you've got to be walking on eggshells. Okay, I just had to check that the part was compatible, and it is. There really is situational dependent. It's not a big issue yet that I haven't got that sitting completely flat, because because I'm using leaded solder, I will end up doing some assistive heating. I only need to do about 250 and it should drop down. There we go. Actually, I can do better than that. Right, that's better. That's a fine way of spreading flux everywhere, Paul. Well done. Hey, Christian Hollywood. I always forget to let the thing cool down. Stick it in the cooling system. See, Joe. Needs a little bit more cooling. I don't think I'm really hoping this stream doesn't take too much longer. I'm hoping this will be an under 1 hour stream. I could definitely do with a straightforward job for once in my life. You notice I haven't been getting many 1466s lately, so that kind of deprives you of most of the straightforward jobs that you get. Let's plug this in, see if we get anything. 20 volts, reset, 600. Yeah, that looks like that's booting. Okay, let's grab that chassis. Well, yeah, it's definitely they've made a hell of a hole in the keyboard biscuit layer. So I'm not sure if that will have damaged the keyboard. We will find out when we test the keyboard. Fingers crossed it hasn't, because if it has, that's not a... it could be a deal breaker for some people. I don't replace the keyboards on these, I just replace the entire top deck. It's easier and it's more consistent in outcomes. So replacing the top deck basically means you take the screen off. Unfortunately, with the third-party supply top decks, you have to move the battery as well, and that is a pain, because quite often the battery will get damaged in the transfer process. So you end up with a lot of potential costs and a pretty decent chance of not making any real margin if things go wrong. As for what caused that capacitor to fail, yeah, who knows. It wasn't even a ceramic, so you can't go along and blame it on it being an MLCC cap, which a lot of people like to do. But tantalum caps, people complain about the ceramics, but realistically tantalums are far worse. Okay, here we go. Yes, I've already done Micro's insulin. Hopefully the battery hasn't been knocked out of action. Oh, okay, we're good. This is up and running, showing 4% battery. At least with this particular model I can put my test drive into it. Oh, I'm going to have to strangle the machine to death. Okay. That's the other nice thing I like about having this USB-C meter, is I can see when the power has actually, when the main board has actually shut down properly. Okay. It's interesting, we're not showing my macOS stick. Have they gone along and disabled that, or is it just a bad port? Shard, I also need a vacation, yes. Okay, not sure if their port's slightly dodgy or not. We'll have to investigate that later. It seems okay, both of them, for power, but yeah. Hey, House of Moth. Gold hat? No, it doesn't really, because the problem is that you still have to get a fairly decent amount of heat into the part in the board in order for even the low melt to wick its way underneath onto the pads. It can help starting things, but realistically we just use leaded solder for that anyway, so low melt doesn't really assist us that greatly in this situation. And it's a pain to clean up afterwards too. Tech Fortress, yep, many a time customers come along and watch their machines get repaired here. Oops, that was not the right thing. Actually, I want the terminal. Okay, terminal. Keyboard tester. No! Crap. Right. I inadvertently tried to clear the configuration RAM. Okay, so we're just testing the keyboard here. We don't have to look at what we're doing until the end. Left control. Okay, left control's good, cap's good, escape's good. Okay, so everything past there, we don't have any residual ones that are showing up, and all of the response times are good. The cap lock's response time always goes out because I leave it on during the whole process. So we're lucky, the keyboard's all okay. Hey Keith McDermott, it's all good. Fortunately no one's forcing you to hand in your hall pass. Okay, we don't have a fan spin at the moment yet. Okay, face camera works. The fan spin may kick in, I'm not sure. Okay, microphone and speakers work. Oh, the Paul Klavic. Okay, actually, where the hell's our battery? We do seem to be having battery issues potentially here. Let's bring up the coconut battery. Yeah, battery not working. It's interesting. Oh no, that's for the computer. But yeah, it's got no information on the battery itself. So we'll have to have a look at that battery connector. Maybe it's got corrosion on it or something. And the other thing is the fan is not yet kicking in. But that's probably because it doesn't have a battery, it's not going to go at full speed. Which is why that's happening. Okay, so we'll quit out of that. We've got to check, see what's going on with the battery. But I have a horrible feeling what's happened is it's drained itself to zero and disassociated itself. I didn't break it, Pedro. You broke it. You're the universal break-it machine person. That part looks okay. You gotta always check this side too. Yeah, there's some gnarliness there. Interesting that... Oh, there, that's why. Dipshit Daniels didn't plug it in. I blame Pedro 100%. If there's ever a mistake in my life, it almost always is blameable on Pedro. Hello there, Falcon. Welcome back. I do remember you from previous chats. Scratch the nose. Okay. Pedro loves the abuse, I should point that out, by the way. It's not unwanted abuse. In fact, he actually gets pretty cranky if I don't abuse him. Interesting, the fan spins now too. Although it might just be the fact that we turned it off, and because the fan wasn't spinning, the heat that had been generated by the CPU running just sort of pooled up, and that's fan stopped now. No pick, Pedro. Scratch. It was a scratch. It was a scratch. No pick. Pedro, have you distributed those files on Badcaps yet? Because I went there and I did a search and I didn't find anything, so I feel like you're not upholding your end of the bargain. Okay, now I've got a battery icon. And you can see we've got 3 amps almost of charge, so yeah, we're definitely much better off now. Okay, let's try that valley run again. Although I probably should give it some time to pick up above about 5 or 6%. Geez, Pedro, you know, I work my backside off getting things prepped for you, and you return the favour by being a slack person. Well, that's really nice of you. Getting dinner. Okay. Hello, Simon Morgans, a noob from the UK. Well, probably not that much of a noob. Do you do MacBook repairs or PC laptop repairs? I presume, being in the UK, you may know of Adamant IT and 10-Minute Tech, maybe not, and all the other various YouTubers. Full wave, I can't hear any fans, so it's kind of moot. No, I am going to need to wait for this battery to come up. But anyway, it is charging. We do know the fan now works. I'm just going to let this quit, because the trouble is when it's running the valley test, it tends to drain as much power as what the charger can put into it. What? Why the hell do I want a beard trimmer? I've got one. I've got a beard trimmer. You said tomorrow. I don't recall you saying tomorrow. I thought you said you're going to do it immediately. Although tomorrow is only 20 minutes away, so you may actually be technically correct. Hey, Six Girls. So we're just going to sit here, wait for this battery to pick up a couple of percent. Let's see what the coconut says now. Right, well, at least coconut actually reports it. So the battery is getting pretty old. It's at 82.7% overall. It's still, in decent sort of condition. It's had 618 cycles. I just want to see that first 1 or 2% pop up. Hey, GD Tech. No sound? It's just you, I think. As far as YouTube's concerned, it's showing audio out. Thank you, Greg. Oh, come on, man. Give me my percentage on the charge. There's branches in here. Maybe I should play some Best Fiends while I wait. I'm actually getting a bit sick of Best Fiends now because of the fact that they're coming to the end of their sort of life as a game. And so they're just flooding it with adverts and things like that. Things you can't get around. Okay, we just got 1% pop up. And instead of being able to get straight into a game, you got to go through 5 or 6 stupid adverts that try to scam you out of your money. So I think it's pretty much time to put Best Fiends to rest. They're going down the gurgler, much like Candy Crush did. Same pattern. 2 crap months in a row? What do you mean, as in very few jobs coming in? Because, yeah, one of my biggest business supplier people, I haven't had any jobs come through from them for about 2 weeks now, and that's kind of scary because they used to send 5 to 10 a week, and now there's like nothing. And I've messaged them. I said, have you decided you're doing stuff differently? I didn't say have you cut me out or anything like that, but I was just like, what's going on? And yeah, I think they're doing more in-house, which is always a bit scary. Because if they're doing more in-house, they're going to get all the easy ones for themselves and they're going to leave me with the crap. And if they start doing that, then I'm just going to have to put up the bench fees, because normally if they send me the normal number, you can keep a fairly decent sort of price range overall. But when they start leaving you with the dodgy ones, then you got to put your prices up or just divorce them. Bit of jealousy, still rocking the sporty teenage look over here. Yeah, I don't know why it's gone quiet, but it is concerning. But that is also why I do other things like the current meters and working on the LED lamps for the microscopes as well as the software itself. I try to make sure that I have alternative income sources that I can put my efforts into if things are going quiet in other areas. But yeah, going from 10 or so jobs a week down to 0, that actually does make a significant impact. Obviously out of those 10, it was around about a 50% success rate. Most of them were things like the A2141s or A1990s with blown up B-regs and destroyed NANds. Okay, so we're picking up here now, so let's see if we can get Bally to run and get that fan to kick. But I am waiting on my new circuit boards, my new aluminium circuit boards to come in. I probably should do some painting in the office room. I need to get that done. Okay, we're doing 50-60 frames per second now. That's good. And the fan is spinning, so everything is doing the correct thing now. Thank goodness for that. So it looks like in this particular case, I got lucky. We had a very obvious short circuit. And even though it did burn the bottom of that keyboard biscuit base, it a bit like my own cooking. it didn't affect the keyboard, and everything else seems to be intact. The other nice thing is that the board itself, it doesn't look overly dirty, so I don't really need to put this through an ultrasonic or anything like that. I can put this board straight back in, and customer will be happy, I'll be happy, everybody happy. And that's it. So I'm going to leave it at that for tonight, rather than cause myself any more potential failures. Elan Ellison, thank you very much for the 279 Canadian. Thumbs up for you. Much appreciated. Yeah, John, I found it's always essential to have alternate avenues that you can put your focus into when things are going slow. Like I said, it has been disturbingly slow, and it is affecting me a little bit. Like, you try to play it cool, and you get through a week, and then you get to the second week, and you're like starting to unravel a little bit. And that's when I started emailing people and say, am I doing something wrong here, or do we need to talk about something? And they're like, nah. So maybe they're lying, maybe they are doing their own thing more. Maybe they're farming it out to someone else who's cheaper, and that is a very, that's their business. There's definitely people out there who do this work a lot cheaper than I do. That's business, isn't it? So you try to minimize your costs and maximize your profits. You can't turn around and expect or demand other people do differently. So if you want to play in the game of business, you got to learn to get up each morning and run as fast as you can. And if you decide you don't want to keep running quite that fast, then you're going to have to accept that you might get your lunch eaten or be eaten yourself. It's just the way the game goes, and you got no one to complain about. If it doesn't work out, that's on you, really. I'm out of here. I'll see you all next time, whenever that may be. Could be tomorrow, could be the day after. Until then, take care. I'll catch you later.